Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden from Cartoon Apocalypse, and today this video is going to be talking about Mama Star and Ready Aim Fire. And if you haven't seen my previous video on the episodes that came out earlier today, I'd recommend going to check that out. That one was over Sad Teen Hotline and Shenanigans. Now, before we move any further, I just want to say, in case you didn't know, I am sick. That's why I sound weird. That's why the video is just going to be a little bit weird because of my voice. So hopefully the next couple of videos won't be as sick. So yeah, I'm still getting better. It's not super bad today like it was yesterday, but you know, what are you going to do? So I'm going to start out with Mama Star and then make my way to Ready Aim Fire. Like always, I've made a bullet point list of some things that I wanted to talk about, so I'm just going to go ahead and talk about those. So a general description for Mama Star is basically just Star, Marco, Jaina, and Tom go to the magic dimension. That's pretty much what they're doing in this episode. But before they get to the magic dimension, Marco basically points out at that little wall of graffiti, quote unquote. It's actually like, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's pretty important. But Marco basically just says, hey, what if the first humans were actually human? And that basically just confirms that that is true. So there you go. The first humans were officially humans. So eventually the group of four goes into the magic dimension using Oscar's car and pretty much demands that the firstborn takes them to the Muni well. So then the firstborn's like, alright, fine, whatever, I'll take you. And then they start to lose their memories in the car, and that's pretty cool. Now, one thing that I found interesting is that they're not actually touching any magic while they're in the car. They just have to be in the magic dimension, and that's really, I don't know if that's important, but it is something to keep note of because, I don't know, maybe it's just the presence of magic, so you don't actually have to be touching magic, you just have to be kind of near it. So I actually really enjoyed this episode just because of the interactions between everyone. They're so like loopy and forgetting what they are and who they are, what they're doing. And just Marco starts going insane and he starts like getting this double personality. And Tom looks like a lamb in this shot and it's just super funny. I don't know, something about this shot made it seem like Marco was like turning evil, or maybe like, oh, the monster arm's kind of coming back. But I mean, I don't really think it means anything too much. But it is cool to see that, like, oh, maybe some dark Marco kind of thing will happen. Probably not, because it did end up just kind of being like a weird hallucination in the end. But one thing that Marco says during that is that he loves Star. So that was pretty cool. He wanted to become like really small and then fit into Star's pocket so that Star could pet him. I don't know. That was just super weird but funny at the same time. And Star heard that. So that, I think, made her happy. She might not remember it in the long run, but it is something that she did hear at some point, so I don't know. So then eventually Tom just like blows the top off of the car and he turns into this like weird demon looking form. So is this Tom's true form? Like, has Tom been putting on essentially a mask to make himself look better? Because this, like, he actually looks like a pretty crazy demon in this shot. So, I mean, like, what if this is Tom's true form? Like, that would be pretty crazy. So skipping ahead a little bit, we can see that Star and Marco are just naturally attracted to each other. They seem to get along even when they don't even know who they are, and just everything, like, this is showing that the show just is meant for Starco to be a thing, and like, just try to convince me otherwise. It's like that meme where it's like Starco is meant to happen, like, try to convince me, or whatever that was. I don't know too many memes. I just remember seeing that like once or something. I don't know, but that's basically what's going on here. Like, the show is just saying like, hey, Starco is meant to happen, just accept it at this point. And I'm pretty sure like this whole scene here was basically just fan service, because it was pretty fan servicey. Now, here's the thing about this episode. It may just seem like a fun, lighthearted episode, but we learn a lot about magic, specifically dark magic, because we can see that there are a lot of unicorns who have drunk this dark magic, and that's pretty much caused them to turn into this like weird, angry, destructive state. And even one of the larger unicorns turned into this and is just, the firstborn says that its sole purpose is destruction, and that proves that dark magic is a thing and Eclipsa does it. And my view on it is, if you can't control the dark magic, it'll just take over you. And that's what we're seeing from these unicorns. They're just meant to inhabit this area, and they're just kind of like, I don't know what their purpose is exactly, but my guess is that they are here to just kind of keep the magic dimension in order. But if they can't control and they can't overcome the dark magic will essentially overcome them and start to control them. So I think that that's kind of what's going on here, and it's showing that Eclipsa's dark magic isn't good. Eclipsa can control it, and maybe she's not intentionally doing it for any evil purposes, but just her doing it is having big consequences that could be problematic in the future. But in the end, the Firstborn teleports Star, Marco, and Jaina back to Muni. Now here's the thing, where's Tom? Because in the next episode, Ready, Aim, Fire, he is nowhere to be seen. Now if we go back to when we last see Tom in Mama Star, he's still stuck in the car. He hasn't figured out how to open up his seatbelts. So what's going on with him? What's going to happen with him? Because that is something that most people, I don't even know, noticed, because it just kind of went so, like, we're so focused on so many other things that we just kind of neglected Tom, and that's kind of sad. But you know, I mean, what are you going to do, I guess, right? There's so much stuff to talk about, but what is Tom doing? Like, is he just going to be stuck there and they're going to have to go back for him? What's going on? Is he going to turn into this dark magic person? Is he going to become the next villain? Or is he going to be the one to triumph and beat Mina? I don't know, but it's important that he is stuck in the magic dimension. That's going to serve a purpose later on in the show. So now let's go ahead and talk about Ready, Aim, Fire. Now this episode was specifically plot based. It didn't really have any, like romance plot, stuff like that. So this episode was really interesting. Now we first start off with Marco, and basically he hears the Magic High Commission. Now I had to turn up my audio in order to hear it. I mean, my audio is just naturally lower than most people's, so I have to turn it up for some things that are quieter. But basically the Magic High Commission says that they shut down the portals, and they're working with Mina Loveberry to get rid of Eclipsa and Globgor. Now, Hekipu is saying that they don't think that they should trust Mina because she's kind of crazy, and the fact that she's crazy means that there's a risk for just the everyday humans and stuff. But Romulus and Omnitrex's Prime say, well, sometimes you have to take risks to, fix problems. So Romulus and Omnitrex's are on the side of, just causing destruction, getting rid of Eclipsa and Globgor for the sake of the future of Muni, in their eyes. So again, this is showing that the Magic High Commission's kinda evil, and they're willing to just do whatever the heck they want to get their way. So that's kind of big. I think that the main characters will end up, saying like, hey, the Magic High Commission can't be trusted anymore, and they'll just lock them up forever now. I don't exactly know, maybe not, maybe they'll be let off the hook, but the Magic High Commission has seemed to cause a lot of problems that they didn't need to, because they're just selfish and they think that they know all. But, that's something for a later episode that I hope they will get to, because the Magic High Commission is just kind of this thing that causes a lot of problems, and I think that they're going to need some closure on that. Not only that, we see Mina is finished with her Solarian armor and her Solarian sword, which is basically a replication of Solaria's sword. But then we cut to Star's perspective. When she wakes up in Doop Doop's house for whatever reason. And so she goes to see Moon. And what do we know? Moon's created some walls. She's basically become the queen of this new little kingdom thing. Just like I said what would happen back when we first saw Down by the River. Whoa, it's crazy how things like that happen, right? But basically Star is saying like, hey, let's go help Eclipsa, and then Moon's like, I can't leave, I have to protect these people. And so Star's like, alright, well, I'm gonna go by myself. If you want to protect me, you'll know where to find me. And spoilers for if you don't want to know the descriptions for the next couple of episodes, but basically Moon has to come save the day. So things are not going good with Mina. So after that interaction, we cut to Jaina, and she ended up with Glossaryck. So she goes out of the castle and finds Mina. And then Eclipsa comes out, saves Jaina, and Globgor's there too, and they attempt to take out Mina. And in their fight, Globgor is hit with Mina's sword, which prevents him from using his powers, basically causes him pain whenever he moves and stuff. And we don't exactly know the implications of that, but basically it's specifically designed against monsters. So we can assume that this is part of Solaria's magic when she was working with her Solarian army. And you have to remember that Solaria was basically, her whole purpose in magic was to create things against monsters. So they're going to have some pretty high-end stuff as far as just going against monsters. So that's why that was such a big effect on Globgor. So then Eclipsa tries to fight Mina by herself. And we know that Eclipsa is like one of the most powerful queens, like essentially the most powerful, right? Well, she's barely doing anything against Mina, and that's pretty scary. Like, how is the most powerful queen in all the history not doing anything against Mina? So that's like really scary. Like, whoa, what's going on here? And I'm pretty sure we can all agree that Star is more powerful than Eclipsa, just simply because of the fact that she ranked about as high as Eclipsa as far as the baby training thing, and Star knows how to do magic without her wand, so that pretty much just means that she's essentially better at the moment than Eclipsa. And I mean, again, spoilers for the future episodes, Star obviously gets into trouble because Moon has to come save the day, but we may see that Star does better against Mina than Eclipsa does. So that'll be cool. It might shed some light to Eclipsa that, hey, maybe she should let Star rule, or maybe not. I don't exactly know. Now, this is just my guess, but I think that maybe there's a chance that Eclipsa might, like, at the end of all this, like in the episode Cleaved, she might say, alright, you know what, it's pretty clear that I've only caused problems, I don't know how to be a good queen, so I'm just gonna let Moon take over. We shouldn't be living in the past, we should live in the future, and since Moon is just naturally a ruler, she's created this other village essentially, so I think Eclipse is gonna see all these things and is gonna be like, alright, look, I just wanna have a family of my own, raise Meteora, live peacefully, and I'm just not meant to be queen, and she's not. There's so many reasons why she shouldn't be queen, and yet she still is. So I think at the end of the show, ruling ownership will go back to Moon, just because she's clearly the one who's meant to be ruler. But yeah, that's really all I had written down for Ready, Aim, Fire. If you did enjoy this video, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this. Again, I'm sorry, I apologize, I did not want to get sick. I thought I was going to make it through this, spring season without getting sick. But, you know what, you can't beat them all, right? Yeah, anyway, I really enjoyed these episodes. These episodes were actually some of my favorite ones, and I'm getting really excited for the next couple of episodes. It's just going to be super awesome to see what happens from here. But that's going to be it for me. I don't know when the next video will be. It'll probably be a news video, but we'll see. I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.
I want you to put me in your pocket.